Welcome back to Walsall Fan TV for the match preview. Walsall at home to the mighty Tranmere. And to discuss all the details, we have Ethan. Hi, Ethan. Welcome back.
Hello. It's good to see your face. You're always smiling and happy. It's good. I like your video. I keep a good eye on your vlogs and everything, and it's nice to see now Walsall doing well. You're doing well.
Well, at last I've finally got something to smile about. I'm generally smiling anyway, but I mean,
Yes.
It's nice that we've got something to smile about at last.
Yeah, it is. Top of the league.
Top of the league, and it's the thing is with Walsall, you're always like, oh, it could all go pear-shaped still. Do you know what I mean? So it's always a concern.
Football, mate,
it's never out. Nobody ever's promoted by Christmas, are they?
They're not. You started this by saying the mighty Tranmere with like 20th, so not too sure how mighty we are, but
good history, Tranmere.
Yeah. Well, I missed out on our glory days in the 90s, but yeah, it was nice seeing us get promoted twice at Wembley. We've just done nothing since about 2020, though. Really, 5 years of terrible.
Yeah, I think Walsall were a bit nervous playing Tranmere because you did us first game of the season, didn't you? We've only lost 3 this season, and one of them was at your place. You got an early goal and then shut up shop, didn't you?
We did. You couldn't quite break us down. I remember being at the game, and I arrived at the game a bit late, so I missed the Mari Pakic's goal because that was in the first 5 minutes or whatever. So yeah, I just sat there watching a performance where we defended against your attack, and you couldn't quite break us down. Which, if it was played now, you probably could.
Yeah, I think Walsall are obviously doing very well at the minute, and there's a lot of talk about Nathan Lowe, whether he'll get recalled by Stoke. So he's got 16 goals in all competitions. He's sort of on fire, as it were. But the last 2 seasons before this, first of all, we had Danny Johnson was on loan from Mansfield and done incredibly well, and then got pulled back, got his loan recalled in January. And then last season we had Freddie Draper, who was doing well for us. So we're hoping that it's not going to be a third time on the trot to mess us up. I think it'd be. I saw one video talking about Nathan Lowe, the Wonder Kid, and it shows a very good case for Nathan Lowe. But the title on the video is sort of like he's carrying Walsall to promotion. And yes, he is scoring some good goals. But I mean, there's a lot more to this team than Nathan
you've got
Lowe.
a good team there, really. You wouldn't say it's all down to one player.
No, it's we've got more clean sheets than we had the whole of last season already.
Yeah.
Only conceded 20 goals in the first 23 games, and that includes a calamitous 6-2 defeat. Yeah. So we got was it 4 clean sheets on the bounce?
Who was the 6-2 defeat against?
Fleetwood. That was the weirdest game of all.
I mean, they're not doing amazing, are they? So to concede 6 against
that night, Fleetwood, they were very, very good. As you can imagine from the score, but they cut through us at will, really. Every time they shot, it went in. Walsall had so many chances in that game, it just didn't quite drop.
Yeah,
could have easily been sort of 6 each.
Yeah,
but once they were a couple up, everything they're just hitting it from everywhere, and it was just finding its way into the net. Like for one of their goals,
that goalkeeper, was that down to the goalkeeper at the time, or no? Just one of
no, that was Tommy Simpkin was in goal for that.
Yeah.
I think I've tried to put it out of my head, to be honest, but the goal that sort of got them back into it, the guy was about 5 yards out, misplaced his header.
Yeah.
He's only 5 yards out, misses his header, completely messed it up, and he hits the shoulder of another striker, goes off his shoulder and loops into the top corner.
I was just thinking about Arsenal's chance yesterday. I don't know if you watched the game, but Havertz had the perfect opportunity, hit it with his shoulder instead of his head when it was just easy, loads of space, and yeah.
But I think it was Fleetwood were very good, and Walsall got level, and then at the start of the second half, our centre half, David Kagbu, gave away a soft penalty really, and the guy was down near the byline, and he sort of leant on him a bit too much, so that put them 2-1 up, and then I think the header, the misplaced header that went in, put them 3-1 up, and they were cock a hoop at that point, and I was convinced that they were going to win the league, Fleetwood, but they've hardly won since.
Yeah, and you were the one that were winning.
Yeah, well, we've not lost since. We've not lost since, and that was October.
When was that? October.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know what it's like when you're having a good season. Things start. I remember the days. Yeah.
I remember the days of having a good season. Yeah. I don't know what it's like at the moment, but yeah.
You know, when teams are on a good run, things just seem to drop for them.
Yeah.
And when you're having a bad run, things sort of go against you, don't they? And
you do, but I sort of believe you make your own luck at times, don't you? And
yeah, I think the key difference for Walsall, Nathan Lowe's goals, obviously he's done well. Jamil Matt, last season, he never really got fit.
Yeah.
And when he got given a new contract, it was like, oh, what are we doing? Give him a new contract. He's finished. He's like 34, 35, not really got himself fit. But he's been excellent, Ethan.
Yeah. He's one of those players that you don't really like playing against because, you know, he's tall, he's got everything that you... If he's your man, he's what you want, isn't he? But when you're playing against him, he's just, like, he's a villain in those sort of games. I wouldn't say that he's horrible to play against as a person. Like, I don't think that he sort of, like, tries to be, like, cocky or anything. I don't think so anyway. But just, like, as a player, it's tricky to play against him because of his height. He can score goals. He's got it all, really, hasn't he? And to be fair, that injury that he had with his hand, I'll never forget that. And he's probably still going through something himself with that really in his head. Like, am I doing the best going to this ball now? Do I need to do that? So he's probably questioning himself a little bit of what he needs to do because that injury was awful.
Yeah, he still types up his hand every game.
Ah, mate, it was genuinely the worst. One of the worst injuries that I ever saw. I think probably the worst, but.
I haven't seen that, but I've heard about it. But I don't want to see it, to be honest.
No, just leave yourself away from it, mate. Leave yourself away from that one, please. But yeah. So he's probably questioning himself in his mind when he's going towards the ball and everything else like that. So when the player like that, who's had such a big injury, struggles with his form and he's got that in his head, like he's burdened with that, then, isn't he? So. He just needs to be in good form for you lot anyway. Obviously, he doesn't need to be in good form on Saturday. I'm not saying that. He needs to be in terrible form on Saturday. But yeah,
he turned around the doubters, absolutely, and so was Matt Sadler, the manager.
You were a bit on the fence with him, weren't you?
Yeah, well, October. It seemed he was close to the sack in October. I think in reality he wasn't, but I mean, from a fan perspective, it seemed like he was near the door.
As in 2 months ago? 3 months ago?
No, as in October 23.
Okay. Yeah.
October 23.
Did we play you in October? I can't remember our games against you last season.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I have trouble remembering what 80s this week. Never mind anything else.
Yeah, but I think you were talking to me around that sort of time. And you were saying you don't know what's going to happen. But he's changed it around, hasn't he?
What I think happened, and I think part of the catalyst, really, when we were struggling at that point, Ben Boycott came over from America, the chairman, and he must have gone round to everybody and just spoke to everybody. And I think they all must have spoke really highly of him. And it seems like everything pulled together from that point. But Matt Sadler's got such a good way about him with the people. Like normally, like you imagine teams like Mansfield, Nigel Clough, the first 11 are absolute diamond. Anybody outside the first 11, it's like, who are you, sort of thing. But Matt Sadler is so like a family and brought everybody together. And
he's still young as well, isn't he?
Yeah,
I think. So he's still learning those sort of. He's still learning what he has to learn. Yeah, but in his early 40s, 40.
I don't know if he's even 40, to be honest. I'll have a look while we're on here. Let's have a look.
Yeah.
I'll just tap it in. You'd think I'd know, wouldn't you? It's what?
Was he a player for Walsall as well?
Yeah, he played for Walsall twice.
Yeah,
he played for Walsall and played for Blues in the top league.
Who do you prefer over that, Birmingham and Aston Villa?
Who do I prefer, Birmingham, Aston Villa?
Yeah.
I'm going to say Villa, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one, isn't it?
Why do you prefer Villa?
I don't know, really. I think what it probably stems from is going back into the 80s. Our chairman at the time proposed a ground share agreement with Birmingham.
Okay.
So there was some animosity with that. So you can imagine that was sort of would sort of put you off them a little bit, really. But we've had some good interactions with Blues. Matt Sadler obviously has played for Blues and he's got a good relationship with them. And we had some players from Blues that have sort of been released, and we've had a few on loan and that sort of stuff. So
have you got anyone on loan from Birmingham, Aston Villa now?
Not from Villa. On Blues, we got George Hall on loan, but he's injured at the minute. He was a tremendous talent. 2 years ago, he played 41 games in the Championship in midfield, and then missed last season in its entirety, pretty much, with an injury. And then he came on loan to us for the season. And initially, he looked like he was made of Weetabix and weren't going to do much. Had a little injury, came back from the injury, and then suddenly he seemed to have a whole new intensity, and started looking very, very good. He'd sort of got himself into a starting position in the team. Was doing really good, and then he's had another injury, so he's going to be out for about 3 months.
Yeah.
So that's a shame. Matt Sadler, by the way, he's 39. Yeah. 39, 40 next month he is.
He's still learning then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I think initially he didn't seem to be learning from his mistakes, and that was the frustration, that it's sort of like he was getting out-thought.
Yeah.
But Gary Waddock, the assistant, and Richard O'Kelly, his mentor. Richard O'Kelly used to be assistant manager at Villa, but he also played for Walsall, so he's got a deep history with Walsall.
Is that mentor still at the club now?
Yeah. Richard O'Kelly,
What's his actual role? It can't be mentor, surely. I don't know.
I think it's like an unofficial role, I think, almost.
Yeah, there's not many mentors in football now, is there? Or like in...
Well, he's like the elder statesman, isn't he? Sort of helping to guide him, and that is advisory.
Is that just like a director of football in a way then? Someone above him?
Probably director of football, or perhaps is something. But he's not involved in the massively in it. I think he's just coaching Matt Sadler, I think.
Yeah.
And Matt Sadler, as a manager, has improved massively. Our associate director, Abandon Hunter, has corrected me, so thanks for that. Richard O'Kelly is the associate director. So that's good.
Enough, yeah.
Matt Sadler's learnt a lot from him. He's been smarter with his substitutions. So that's sort of been a big help. The rest of the team, as we mentioned, sort of Matt Sadler, Jamil Matt, and Nathan Lowe. But our midfield this season, last season we had Isaac Hutchinson, 23 goal contributions, and you think, how are we going to replace those goals when he left?
Yeah.
But the midfield we've got now, there's so much intensity in the midfield. We're creating more chances because of that.
Yeah.
And obviously Connor Barrett on the right and Liam Gordon on the left, the wing backs, obviously contributing to that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty special.
Yeah, and you've kept the striker, haven't you? You were talking about him before. I can't remember his name. Sorry. So a striker from Stoke who's doing well. You kept him.
Nathan Lowe.
Yeah, that was recently. Like it said, like you've kept him on.
Well, until the end of January, we won't really know for sure. But
okay, I thought that was a done deal. Like he's staying on loan till the end of the season.
Well, he's due to. He's due to. Yeah. But Stoke, of course, got a new manager in Mark Robbins.
Yeah,
so
that's a good
things
appointment
can
by them,
change.
by the way. That's a good appointment by them, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Mark Robbins. How did he get sacked from Coventry? It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's mad. And then they've got. Is it Frank Lampard there now? I don't think he's doing too well. I don't think he's
He'll
doing
take
too well.
Down, will he? Rooney's another one, taking Plymouth down.
Yes. Steven Gerrard over in Saudi Arabia. Wayne Rooney getting sacked all the time.
They were great players. But it's a whole different world managing, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It is. Probably best of punditry, Wayne Rooney. He was doing quite well in the Euros, I think.
Yeah.
He looked all right on telly.
Turning to Saturday.
Yeah.
Tranmere, 2 wins, a draw, and 3 defeats in the last 6. 25 points, 4 goals for, 17 goals against, 32.
Yep.
So that's like a combined sort of struggling to score and struggling to keep a clean sheet, isn't it?
Yeah.
The excellent shutout against us at the start of the season has not been a regular occurrence by the looks of it. What do you think is that's going wrong for Tranmere at the minute?
Can we talk about Mark Robbins instead?
You are.
Can we talk about Mark Robbins instead? It's different, to be honest, mate. Everything's going wrong. At the start of the season, we were doing well defensively. We have a player called Brad Walker. He's an exceptional player, really experienced. He's a really good in midfield and with his passes and in defence. And he was playing in defence around August time. Not too sure if he was playing in that game against Walsall. He probably was, though, in the back four. But yeah, I can't remember the team off the back of my head, and I can't really remember that game very well, to be honest. But yeah, I remember us defending well, so he was probably in there doing well. So yeah, he's just injured all the time, so he's out now. So yeah, our defence was really good at the start of the season. Then it's not doing too well now, really. There's a couple of good players in there. Well, there's not a couple of good players in there. I'm talking rubbish with that one. There's one good player in there, I'd say, O'Connor. And I also quite like, there's a young lad that we've got called Declan Drysdale, who's in our youth, but then he went to Coventry. Probably another club. But yeah, Declan Drysdale's good. And we signed him this summer. He came in, he had an injury issue. He's another player that has always seemed to struggle with his fitness, but when he's on it, he's good. And he's a good ball playing centre-back. But Jordan Turnbull, he's got experience. He's not the best, to be honest, from what we've seen. He was Salford's player of the season, and then he came to us. And what seems to happen is players who go to Tranmere just end up like Tranmere players, really terrible.
Andy Cook, I want to talk about Andy Cook a little bit, because he did well for you, didn't he?
He did, mate, yeah. He did. Well, it's interesting with Andy Cook, because at the time, obviously, we had Andy Cook as our striker. Mickey Mellon was the manager, and Andy Cook is injured at the moment at Bradford City. So they've put in
ACL injury at 34. Yes. That's not great for him.
It's not, mate. That could burden his career a bit, unfortunately. But he's had a great career already, obviously. But yeah, just at the end of the season, he's probably going to have more towards retirement now, isn't he, with that injury? But yeah, so Bradford have brought in Mickey Mellon's son to replace him now for the goals.
Michael Mellon, yeah, he's an interesting one, isn't he?
So it's gone from Andy Cook to Mickey Mellon's son.
Well, we were looking at Mickey Mellon, I think. Michael Mellon, we were looking at him.
He's a good player. I think he played Fleetwood. Morecambe. No, it was Morecambe, I think. But he scored goals.
Morecambe scored 13 in 22 for Morecambe.
Yeah. So he's a good goal scorer. He's someone that I wish we had Mickey Mellon and Michael Mellon up at Tranmere. I do. It seems like Oldham have got James Norwood and Mickey Mellon. and I'd like both of those back at Tranmere, really. I think both of those would help us out, because Mickey Mellon was known to be a sort of defensive-minded coach, and now our defence is doing terrible, and we can't score either. It'd be good to get a defensive-minded coach in, to be honest, because I'm not too sure what Nigel Atkins is good at, really. Not too sure. He's just a hoofball manager.
What are you thinking of Cameron Norman? Because we loved him at Walsall.
Yeah, I mean, he had a good pre-season, and we thought he was going to be amazing, but he just hasn't been, to be honest. But in the last week, it's been a good week for Cameron Norman, really. On Saturday, he scored a goal.
He scored the winner on Saturday, didn't he?
He did, yeah. He had a good game on Saturday. He was creating chances, and then he scored the goal. And then Roy Keane said that Trent would take his position at Tranmere instead of Real Madrid. So the Tranmere Twitter have put out saying, "No, we're all right, thanks. We'll keep to Cameron Norman." But yeah, he's not been I don't think Cameron Norman can play in a back four.
Oh, are you playing him in back four?
No, I don't think he can play in a back four, Cameron Norman.
When he first came to Walsall, we were in League One, and he struggled. Then the season after in League Two, he sort of looked a much better player, and I was surprised when we released him, to be honest. We kept Hayden White and got rid of Cameron Norman. I thought Cameron Norman was the better player. Which the fact that Cameron Norman stayed in League Two and Hayden White's gone into non-league sort of tells me I was probably right as well.
You're right, but you're probably doing better. Conor Barrett's is the best, isn't he? So
Conor Barrett, he's to be honest, he's been found out a little bit. Conor Barrett, people are doubling and tripping up on him. But that's giving space elsewhere. He's working well with Jamie Jellis. Jamie Jellis in midfield. Have you got a guest? Who's your guest with there?
The missus.
The missus. The missus going to say or is she shy?
She's shy. She's making a dinner.
Okay. Talking about family, Kieran Morris. What's he up to?
He's doing all right. Like, Kieran Morris isn't one of these exceptional players. Like, Kieran Morris isn't someone that you look towards and go, yeah, he's going to win us games. But he's just like a steady head, isn't he? Like, he's just like, he's got the experience now. Don't know how old he is, but he's been at the club now for a good 5-6 years. And in that time, we haven't done anything really. But, well, when he came in, he got us promotion. But then, like, from the past sort of years, we've not really been doing anything. He's just, you wouldn't look at him and go, yeah, he's going to win his games. He's just like, he's just sound, isn't he? He's just like, he'll just kind of do a job.
He's just a solid doing a job player.
Yeah.
The one player we haven't mentioned is Josh Davison.
Oh, yeah, I would rather not talk about him, to be honest.
I thought he was really good, particularly at Swindon. He played very well with Swindon, didn't he?
Yeah, well, he was brought in because he had good past with Nigel Atkins, but he hasn't proven himself, to be honest. A striker should score goals, shouldn't he? And he's not scoring goals, and he's putting in half an effort. So, we've got him on a 2-year contract as well. So, having him on a 2-year contract, it isn't great, really. Because if you say you're on a 1-year contract, you'd go, yeah, well, maybe, for his future, he can look towards it and, like, put an effort in. He's got more to play for. But now he's got another year on him. Like, no club's going to want to sign him, are they? No club's going to want to pay him out the contract. So he's just sort of collecting a wage, and just a waste of a signing, really.
Yeah, that's disappointing. One. Abandoned Hunter saying there, Cameron Norman played in the back three at MK, he was excellent for them.
Yes, but I'd also like to ask why he was released, really, because
that was a strange one. When at the end of last season, MK sort of got rid of loads of players when they're on the edge of they're like finished fourth or whatever it was, and then they changed the whole team. There's just no need for that. It's consistency is what's working for Walsall. It's that stability and consistency that helps to get you there.
You also need to change things up and improve. But I don't know if they have improved them. I don't know who the right back is at MK, but just Cameron Norman, he's not great at defending, and he's good at going forwards, but he can't defend. Yeah.
That's it. That's his issue, I guess. And I suppose in League One, as I say, when we first had him in League One, we had him off Oxford, and he did have problems defensively.
Yeah,
But his long throws are useful.
I'd give him like a 3 or a 4 out of 10 from his time with Tranmere so far. A 3 or a 4.
Okay. Not that impressed then.
Nah.
Before we go to predictions, Salford. What's going on with Salford? They're flying, aren't they?
They're absolutely smashing it. They've got Cole Stockton there as well, and he's getting the goal. He's doing well. Which I'm glad to see.
They're on a better run than Walsall.
They are, yeah. They are. It's interesting. Top of league 2, isn't it? It's not a very good league. I wouldn't say it's a very good league.
This might sound like I'm crowing a little bit, but I mean, Walsall top and clear at the top, and second Crewe, isn't it now? Yeah, Crewe are second, but they're on points. They're nearer to 12th than they are to first.
Yeah,
that's mad, isn't it?
It is, mate. It is. I don't think it's very high quality league, and that's something like you could laugh at this and say you're a Tranmere fan, maybe you're 20th, so you can't talk about quality. But like, I don't think it's very good, to be honest.
Well, I think people have said for a long time, in League 2, you've got everybody's going to know their jobs, be solid defensively, and have a goal scorer.
Yeah,
and Walsall defend really well generally. Fleetwood apart, obviously.
We're still very much in a relegation battle as well, I think, because
you think so.
Although we beat Carlisle last Saturday, the 4th, they're signing players, and we're not signing players, and we've only just been beaten by Morecambe, and we've picked up a point at home against Swindon, who are also down there.
Yeah, Swindon are improving, aren't they?
They are, mate. They are, but yeah, I think we're still in the relegation battle here.
Yeah, Tom Nichols has just joined Swindon from Mansfield.
Yeah. So
he's getting on a bit now, but I mean, he's still useful.
Yeah, and Sedwin Scott has just joined Carlisle as well. Like that's yesterday or something like that, 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So it's just people that are around us are signing players and we're not, and we can't. Yeah. We're not winning many games around us, so there's still a bit of a worry around us at the moment.
Yeah. I think a comment there from Fallen Maniac. Personally, Walsall and Notts are probably the only 2 teams that would be close to what the top of the league was like last season in terms of quality.
And we've picked up 4 points against you. Walsall a point and Notts a win. No, a draw. Sorry.
You got a draw at Notts.
Yeah, a win against Hughes and a draw against Notts in the opening day of the season. So that's 4 points against 2 really good teams, which is just ironic, isn't it?
It is. But as we all know, consistency, isn't it?
It is, mate. It is. And at the start, we played Notts at the start of the season. We played Hughes at the start of the season as well. So that, and our defence was good. Notts should have won that game, really.
They were good. Notts County. I've seen Notts County twice, and they're good both times. But we've done them both times. So
what I'd like to see, Sammy, I'd like to see us sign a proper midfielder and a goal scorer. But I don't know. I don't think both will happen.
I think, Bradford, because of what's happened to Andy Cook, Bradford are sort of going to take all the strikers that are available, I'd have thought.
Yeah, they've got Mickey Melson on, aren't they?
Yeah, that's it. We mentioned him, haven't we?
Yeah.
So who's going to challenge Walsall at the top then?
Tranmere Rovers.
Tranmere Rovers going to have the Doncaster-like surge.
Yeah. I wish. Well, Bristol Rovers. Remember when they had a massive upturn in form, like a couple of seasons back? They had Sam Finley in midfield, and we don't. And we have Sam Finley now, but he's just not done it for us really. He's struggled.
But there's always a team that comes late, isn't there?
There is, but I'm not too sure it'll be us. So
it's early days for that surge, perhaps. Early days for that surge, but then you never know.
Very early days.
Right then, so score prediction.
2-1 1-0, 2-0 to Walsall.
1 or 2-0 to Walsall. I think I'm going to go for 1-0. I think it's going to be a very tight game, to be honest.
Yeah, I can imagine it being a tight game because we've just won. Yeah. We beat Hughes in August, so we'll be thinking, okay, we've done this before. We're got a bit of confidence. So yeah, I imagine it's be a pretty tight game, but I don't think we'll win.
No,
I think you'll win.
Well, I'm hoping so. Obviously, we wish Tranmere well. We don't you dropping out of the league or anything like that, but I think you're going to be okay.
Hopefully,
so you're going to get players. You're going to get players in, haven't you?
You have, but I don't think we'll do that. We're still waiting on this takeover, that it just isn't happening.
Alan joined us saying, will there be a pitch inspection? Well, we've seen it today on the socials. They've got a canopy over the pitch. And heating over the pitch. So I've never seen Walsall work that hard to get a game on. So the game's going to be on.
Yeah.
There's a cheeky one here. DJ to Tranmere.
Oh, we could do some. We could do get the tunes on.
To go with what?
We could do with getting some music on.
No, what about Danny Johnson? Danny Johnson is proven goal scorer in League Two, and he's only getting cameos for Walsall. Rare cameos, that's all he's getting.
Yes, I'll take both DJs. I'll take Danny Johnson and I'll take the DJ for music.
Yeah. Well, they've got final prediction there. Fulham Mania 1-0 to Walsall. New win streak record done and dusted. That's what he's hoping for. Yeah, it's going to be a tight one. I think I'll be happy with 1-0 Walsall, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just sort of keep things going. Ethan, great to talk to you as always. We wish you well for the rest of the season.
Yes, you will.
Keep things going, eh?
Hopefully, mate. Hopefully, we won on Saturday against Carlisle, but we had a good opening half an hour. Then just sort of, apparently, we were lucky to get a win. So I imagine against top of the league, you'll probably beat us. So 1-0, 2-0, something like that.
And the Sky cameras are there because it's early kick-off. So they'll all be trying to impress everybody on Sky, won't they?
Yes. Get the many watchers of Walsall vs Tranmere impressed with you.
Brilliant. Wolves Fan TV, the joy and the pain. Thanks, Ethan. Cheers,
all
mate.
The best, mates. All the best.
Cheers. Ciao. Thanks, mate.